and we head to Tankathon. So here we go. Spurs right here in number 8. We'll be doing a lot of these as the season goes on. We won't be able to transfer this to the Fanspo mock draft that we're about to do, but we do want to do these just to update the standings. Keep an eye here on Atlanta, Ethan. If some crazy things happen in the East late in the season, they could jump into the lottery. Again, very unlikely, but just something to keep an eye on. But
I
let's go
think
ahead.
they secured a spot. Oh, wait, no. I guess if they drop out of the play. Never mind. Continue.
Yeah. That's what I meant. It depends on the next 2 games. Very
Right.
unlikely, but yeah, as we see in this one, you have some movement here with Toronto jumping up a little bit, but for the most part, everything stays the course. San Antonio at number 8. I'm glad it was easy this time, Ethan, because the last one we did, we got like 4 crazy ones that were unrealistic. So anyways, that is just an example of what the standings look like. But let's go over to Fanspo here and do our second mock draft of the year, Ethan. And this time, so I had an idea. See, it's still got our old draft up. Look at that. Or maybe that was another one I was doing. So I had an idea. Do you want to do the no ceilings consensus this time?
Why not? Let's see
Just
what happens.
Yeah, just to try to mix it up. Okay. Here we go. And again, we're not going to be picking all of these. So everything's standard. We're just going with the Spurs, and we'll go with the full draft here.
Dylan Harper.
We still can't get Cooper Flagg to go number 1.
Wild.
Oh my goodness. Let's see here.
Derek Queen at 6.
So they have him a lot higher. Yeah, and the Nets would not pick him. But
Trey Johnson, I would have loved to have taken.
If Trey Johnson falls to us, I will say that would be somebody that I would like consider over Kaman Malwatch. And obviously that game against Houston as well has probably brought up, some question marks for people. As much as that's not the be all end all, that is still, something that can be brought up in a lot of discussions about him. But he is on the board. Asa Newell is on the board. Con Nupel, or am I pronouncing that right? I know you couldn't.
I'm still not confirmed. During March Madness, they said Knuppel and Knipple,
Okay.
and you said Nupel, and
I'm
think it's
probably
Nupel.
wrong.
But then in the comments, somebody was like, "One of you's wrong." ... And so I don't know which one of us is correct.
I think it's Knuppel. No. I think that comment that you're referencing was me pronouncing it wrong because I hadn't heard it on the I hadn't heard it yet specifically. As much as I went to Kaman Malwatch's Duke pronunciation guide, I should have gone to Con Knupples.
I also see Liam McNeely there, which is a lot of people have commented his name in the past. I know he's a 6'7" forward from UConn. I love me a UConn guy. He averages 14 and 6. I'm afraid of his field goal percentage, Jude. I don't know if you're familiar with his game, but he only shoots 38% from the field, 31% from 3. So that scares me a little bit. But I can't lie, I haven't watched enough tape on him to speak too intelligently about like his defense and what else he brings to the game. But maybe somebody we should bring up at another time. Do you know anything about him?
Liam McNeely?
Yeah.
Yeah, so from what I know, No Ceilings definitely has him ranked a lot higher than some other places. And that's not me saying that they're wrong necessarily. I would just say from what I've seen, he's kind of more in like this, the kind of late teens range.
Okay.
Is what I've seen where he's been ranked. He is from Texas. He's originally from McKinney, played at Monteverdi Academy. From what I've seen, they kind of do advertise him as a shooter. I know you were bringing up the percentages. From what I remember from him as a high school kind of EYBL prospect, that's honestly, I didn't see too much of him at UConn this year. I haven't dove into him that much just because he wasn't really in the Spurs range. Well, 15 could be in the range, but he's just not somebody that I felt like we were really going to have our eyes on. But yeah, to answer your questions, from what I've seen, he's more of an offensive guy, with some defensive development, but he does have, some nice size and length. So, being in an NBA strength and conditioning program, getting NBA defensive development, maybe there could be some potential there. When I say that, I'm saying potential to just be a solid defender, not to be anything, because that's kind of a weakness right now. But I kind of see him as a floor spacer and kind of a scoring forward.
Okay. Yeah, I'm seeing that too. It's weird that his shooting percentage at college wasn't super high because I'm seeing a lot of people say that he is a shooter as well. I see 3 comps here, and they're all kind of different, which always makes me laugh. It's Dan Marley, who was a defensive specialist, really, that can shoot. Klay Thompson, who obviously we know who he's elite two-way in his prime, and then Corey
Mhm.
Kispert. It's like, okay,
I would
kind of a
say,
wide range.
maybe mesh Corey Kispert and Klay Thompson in the
Okay.
middle, and there you go. That's what you get with Liam McNeely.
With all that being said, I think I go come on Mel watch here, Jude.
I know. We say that whole conversation, and I was thinking the whole time. I got caught up on Khan's pronunciation. I'm just gonna still go with Newpol because that's what pops up in my head. I will correct that once I get that right. But saying Nupple just feels weird, so I'm not
Knuckle.
gonna Knuple. Yeah, I'm not gonna do it there. But I'm gonna go with Come On Malwatch too. I know there's some other options here, but this just solves so many issues, specifically the backup center issue. I know that people are like, hey, I don't want to just use our top 10 pick on a backup center. I feel you. Maybe long term, he can be the starting center, and we move Wemby to the four.
Yeah,
That's a whole nother conversation. I'm not advocating for that. I'm just saying that could be potentially a thing. But I think regardless, when he comes in, he's going to play off the bench to start as much as we've had guys, in this role, or in at like the 8 or 9 range that have immediately started. God forbid, Ethan. If we immediately start him next to Wemby, I'm not going to be mad about it. Um, but if we do that, we need to address, like, we have to have an address.
please.
We can't run out there with Mamu again. Like, and
Poor
that's no
Mamu.
hate to Mamu. We just
He's
need
a
to put.
4. He plays the 3 for Georgia. Like, my poor guy. Let him play his position. Let him play to his strengths.
I'm getting too caught up in the potential caveats here of what could happen next season. We need a backup center. He
Yep.
solves the issue. He also solves interior defense, paint defense, rebounding, and
Mhm.
he was probably going to play off the bench regardless in his first season. That was the point I was getting at.
Pick and roll with CP3 as a rookie? Are you kidding me? That's a big man's dream.
And that's one of his strengths, man. He
Yeah.
definitely does have a lot of his rolls to the rim. Um, Man, they're clean and smooth. He did just start playing basketball at only 13 years old. Are you reacting to the Johnny Broom pick?
I'm reacting to just the fact that Knuckle is still on the board,
Oh.
Jude, at 15 for us.
See, we did this. We did the no ceilings one, and now we're getting some unrealistic stuff. But at this point, I feel like this is a no brainer, especially because they're teammates.
Yeah, bring it on. The trifecta duo. Maybe we get another Duke guy into the second round.
Oh my goodness! Now I
Yeah,
feel like we need to do another one. We won't. We
that's
won't.
a dream scenario.
But this is definitely favorable. I'll put it this way: they made this one easy on us.
We get an elite shooter, wing player, solid defensive upside with a backup center, Jude, that fixes all of our physicality and rebounding issues. Come on now.
Man. So this does bring up an interesting discussion though. So I was telling you about my college basketball reporter friend who
Mhm.
was giving us the intel on what he saw from Khan uh, at EYBL and how he feels like coming into the league he probably won't be ready to start. So what that tells me is under this circumstance we'd probably have Kaman Mawatch as the center off the bench. We'd
Mhm.
move Devin into the starting lineup, barring any trades or other moves. Um, and then we'd have a backup lineup of whoever the backup point guard is. We'll say Blake Wesley for now, Con Newpol, and then Keldon, Mamu, and come on. There you go.
I like that. Honestly, with come on,
Oh,
I'd even be fine if we moved KJ to the 4 and played a little smaller and then had Devin and Khan and CP3 because then we have elite shooting around a traditional big.
so I forgot about something, Ethan. I'm going to put something up here for those of you guys on podcast. I'm sorry if this is a lot on the screen, but I felt like this applied to this conversation. So I forgot about Harrison Barnes. If we move Devin Vassell to the 3 to put Con
Oh,
Newpol at the backup 2, that moves Harrison Barnes to the 4,
there we go.
regardless. Um, So yeah, at that point, you'd have Harrison off the bench, and then next to come on Malwatch or Jeremy, whatever combo we want to go with.
And that's a much better problem than our current problem of like where do we put Mamu 3-4-5, KJ at the 3-4-5. Like I'd much rather have that issue.
And then Mamu becomes, a depth piece at that point,
Mhm.
which is awesome because
A microwave.
there's gonna be injuries. This one seems like another falling thing. With Boogie Fland here as the 34th ranked overall prospect, and we have the 38th pick. And a lot of the other places have him ranked a lot higher, and we haven't picked a point guard. So this one feels pretty obvious to me here too.
Yeah, I mean, it gives competition to Blake Wesley.
Hmm.
He fell. Yeah, I'd take him. The only other person on there that I might want to take Isaiah Evans just for the fact that we get the Duke trifecta.
Okay, that's fair.
But I'm with you. Point guard is probably the position here that we would need in this situation, considering we just drafted a center and a wing.
Yeah, right, right. Here is Joan Beringer. I think that was the other name that I referenced last episode, and I said it was deuce set, and that is not the case. So that's another, if it goes a different way, that's, a center that has the French connection there that maybe the Spurs could consider. But we'll go with Boogie Fland here.
13-5 for Boogie Flan. That's pretty, yeah.
So, man, this was a pretty good haul here for the Spurs in this one. Obviously, this is super favorable. If Khan falls to 15, I think that would be a dream scenario for
Yeah.
the Spurs. I mean, I guess you could say there's crazier things that have happened in the draft, Ethan, but that one feels really unrealistic to me.
Yeah, I don't imagine that he would fall to 15. To be completely honest, both of them might be gone before our first pick.
Right.
You know what I mean? So,
Hmm.
unless this, what is this called again? This
So
version?
so this was No Ceilings' big board, and the reason that I used theirs is I was just trying to mix it up
Yeah,
from the
right, right,
fanspo consensus just to have a little bit different of a draft. But here is our final haul. So again, you see all the auto picks. We can't control those, but we don't want to just sit here and make every single pick for you guys because that would take a very long time.
right.
But yeah, this is what we went with today. Again, this is just the second mock draft that we've done. We will continue to do these throughout the cycle and we'll just name them, by the number in the order that we do them. So, as much as this was not the most realistic, I think a lot of people would agree with our selections, Ethan, but maybe you wouldn't. If you guys wanted to go with something else at 8 and you feel like there's another option other than Come On Malwatch, even if like a Derek Queen is off the board that we didn't see that you would go with, like a Asa Newell, for example, if you like his upside more than his, tell us in the comments. But yeah, I'm pretty satisfied with this one, Ethan.
I am too. I think this is a dream scenario, and if this happens, then we need to give our boy Mitch. It's not Mitch.
Brian Wright.
Brian Wright. I'm blanking on names today. We got to give our boy Brian Wright a big fat raise if this is what we're able to swindle.
This would be a swindle for sure.